So when it comes to ancestors, we have two types. So the first is our, lineage, human ancestral lineage, right? So that would mean that my mother, my father, they're, born in Cuba, and then their parents are Cuban, and then those parents are Spanish, and then Spanish, and then Portugal, and then Africa, right? Like that's my lineage. So that is like one type of ancestor. And some of us know, like, some of us have had people in the family who have done a good job of like keeping track of that, which is really nice. But then some of us don't know too much, like my mom has kind of done a good job, but like especially when we've been moving from so many countries for so many years that like it's kind of hard, and then of course everybody like splits off or whatever, but there's kind of an idea, and thank God for those the blood work now, right? Like the, what are they called, like the 21andMe or whatever it is. Those can help too, because you kind of can get an idea of where you're from. And that ancestral lineage like is important for a few reasons. In the spiritual, I mean, obviously important for your own knowing, if that's what you like, but in a spiritual sense and in a soul sense, in a healing sense, it's they're important because a lot of the times, like if we are struggling with something, sometimes that is coming, there can be a time that that is coming from somebody in the lineage. A lot of you are born into certain lineages to actually heal the lineages. My husband is one of those, and that was and he's not like super into this stuff, but it's very comforting to him to understand like why his life is a little challenging and why it's been hard with his family. And when I explained to him that there's actually souls that come to clean up lineages, like to clear out, like if the energy of the family was jealousy or low at self-esteem or like whatever it is, there's some souls that come in to clean that out, so that sorry, I have so many goosebumps because everybody's ancestors are showing up and mine are too. So ancestors, I can feel them so strong when they show up. So anyways, so that like a lot of people will come in to clear out their lineages to bring something new, and those people are very important in the lineage, because what it means is that like everybody before that person like might have been stuck on, again, like a certain wound, and then that person comes in to then clear out that wound, and then whatever they birthed after no longer is plagued or cursed by that wound. So and to some degree we're all doing lineage work for sure. The hope is that we all can do a little bit better, but some of us will have more of lineage work than others. And it's important to kind of know what's going on with the ancestors because of that. Let's say the great grandmother was the grandmother who started with low worth or something, let's just say. In this lifetime she might have had a hard time, but once she passes, she may very much be with you to help you rise, because in a way that heals her as well. So even if they maybe they weren't the ones that like woke up and did good work, if they are in good health, meaning spirit wise, a lot of times we'll feel them around us as we're working through these things of them or something. You can definitely meditate and have and call them in, but ancestor work is the best done also like through healings, like people that can do those kind of healing guys. So that's our first lineage, right? Like our actually like what we came here as this lifetime. And then we have our spiritual lineages, where this can get like a little complicated, you guys, because this lifetime I came in as a white woman, born in the US, born of like Cuban parents, right? That's what I came this lifetime. But the thing is, a lot of times many of us have had other lifetimes as different cultures. So like for instance, I have a very strong remembrance of a Native American Native American lineage. And even my spirit guide is Native American. We've had lifetimes together. I see this lifetime often. I can feel it so strongly. And like some of you may feel those different lifetimes and almost like want to pick up those practices and things like that, but feel guilty about it because we want to like be appropriate or whatever. But once and I think the world is moving there, but once we understand that like we're all born in the same place and we've all had many different lifetimes and this is just like one lifetime we're having, but if you feel called to a certain culture, I would suggest like maybe even looking into seeing if you've had a lifetime in that culture. And we do that. So at the end of Soul Leader, I know I added like a little bonus of doing past lives, so you can check it out there. And if not in Soul Teacher, we do that. But we have our spiritual ancestors. So for instance, like I again have had I've seen a few lifetimes, but I have this one lifetime um where I'm Native American. It's where all of these like gifts kind of started, and it's like where I remember them the most. And those soulmates of mine, right? Like those ancestors from that lifetime are very much with me and very much with me in this work. So then like those are almost, so we have like the memories of our own parents and of our own lineage, but we also, it's bizarre, but we also have memories of these other lifetimes, and we have these ancestors that are supporting us. So they're kind of like spirit guides in a sense. They're not going to be like super hands on, but you'll feel them, many times. Once you learn to find those places and you learn to journey to those places, then you can find more pieces of you and you can understand like, it's kind of like finding a long lost cousin, in many ways, and kind of being able to understand yourself a little bit more. So that's why our spiritual ancestors are very important, because they kind of bring back like a power, or like even like a self-esteem back to us, and it makes you understand why you are the way you are, because of some of these lineages from your past lives.